Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John with Flippin' Ain't Easy, and I hope you guys had an excellent weekend. I can tell you that sales were kind of just okay for me. We had a really solid week of selling, really solid. I mean, very consistent. Looks like Friday was pretty good, along the same lines of what I've been doing. And then yesterday and Saturday came, the weekend came, and it was like 350 a day. So nothing to panic about. Today we're sitting at about 260, and I'm not really worried about it, to be honest with you. It's summertime, guys, and it's kind of expected. Historically, though, I'm doing better than I've ever have. So I mean, we're just going to keep riding the wave until the wave is gone, and we're going to get on another one. And we're going to keep doing the things that we can control and not worry about all the other things that we can't. What I wanted to talk to you about before I kind of get into all that stuff and talking with your comments and all that, I want to talk about a couple things, actually. The first one being eBay is kind of changing course in a way to try to find a way to get active buyers on the platform to become sellers. So you got your C2C, that's the customer to customer transactions, and it's a new focus, I guess. But what's strange to me is, I mean, we've lost buyers. I mean, instead of trying to add more sellers, add more competition to the mix, right? Let's get more traffic so that all of us can benefit, collectively. I think that would help tremendously to find ways to regain back the buyers and attract them back to the platform. Now, I wanted to talk about this article, and that is on eCommerceBytes. First of all, thank you, Ina Steiner, for providing this article. But I think it's kind of eye-opening to at least kind of see whenever eBay makes a shift or Jamie Ionnone comes out and says something to the masses about what their focus is. It's always a good thing to focus on that and to understand as sellers where the platform's going. Now, in this article, it says eBay CEO Jamie Ionnone says recently, if we get you to sell as a C2C seller, you become 2 to 2.5 times more valuable as a buyer. The CEO said C2C, customer to customer, was important because of the unique inventory it brings, which he called compelling. He made the remarks during a presentation at the JP Morgan Global Technology, Media, and Communications Conference about a week and a half ago. From about 2008 to 2015, eBay management sought growth by courting B2C, that's business to customer, including retailers like Toys R Us, brands like Nike. But eBay has since been forced by activist resellers, not once, but twice, to shed divisions, including enterprise payments, tickets, and classifieds, like StubHub and that type of business. That leaves eBay completely reliant on the core marketplace and whatever growth it can generate through advertising and payments. In 2023, Ionnone explained his e-commerce reinvention strategy, which would rest on 3 pillars: relevant experience, scalable solutions, and our favorite one, magical innovations. And he reiterated that last week. But he also told attendees that generative AI had impacted that strategy. So starting last year, the third pillar of our strategy had been magical innovations. And we all knew about those magical innovations, didn't we? But when generative AI, artificial intelligence, came along, we decided to really double down on the opportunity to go after change the historical or horizontal experiences, because we knew they would help not only focus categories, but also our other core categories. And he went on to use an example of eBay making it easier for sellers to easily clean up their photographs to make them far more appealing to shoppers. Well, eBay's technology, I don't think, was helping too many people. He also called promoted listing ads the largest contributor to growth. And when asked to sum up Amazon, said great at what they do, a sign that he rejects the Amazonification strategy of his predecessor. So at least he's realistic about that. To get back to Ionnone's statement that buyers become more valuable if they also sell, we'd ask, has eBay been successful in getting sellers to buy, or has that shifted, and why? So it's a good article from Ina Steiner. And what do you guys think? Look, the idea of getting buyers to become sellers, getting them more integrated into the platform, that's great. But most people who come onto eBay to buy, they don't care about reselling. They might have established jobs, careers. They probably don't even have time to think about reselling on the platform. Now, maybe there's an element of the population that maybe could use a side hustle, and more power to them. But to me, eBay really, I think, is still not in touch. I mean, it's hard to believe that they're not in touch. They have all the data. So why aren't they in touch with the idea that more buyers to the platform will yield more sales? And there's no shortage of sellers the last time I checked. There's a lot of categories that are very, very saturated. And where are these new buyers going to start selling? Chances are they're going to start selling in the already saturated categories. So I think it's a bad idea. So eBay, if you're watching, here's some constructive criticism. Find ways to get the younger generation to understand what eBay is, to start shopping on the platform, right? Give them some incentives, maybe have some tailored commercials with people they can relate to get them onto the platform, right? Looking for the kind of items that they'd be trying to buy. And then once we get down the road and get some buyers here, and then convert those people if you want to, but you can't. I think it's the cart before the horse thing. I think you don't have enough buyers in the first place to even think about asking them, hey, would you like to sell on the platform? So want to know your thoughts on that. One other thing I wanted to talk about, I saw this. I was watching YouTube the other night. It came up on my feed. I don't know why it did, but it was a very interesting video nonetheless that had to do with the Ina Steiner situation and the involvement with the CIA. And there's some things that were mentioned in this video that I didn't hear about before, and it was only put out about a week ago. It's the link is in the description down below. And I just thought that it was just an interesting 30 minute video, and it was really, really well made. And I'm sitting here struggling to try to get you the title if I can find it here. It's the if I can find it, probably don't have it here with me, but it's very, very interesting nonetheless. Check out the link down below and give it a watch. Not now, but after we're done here. I think that you will find it very, very enlightening. And again, I knew quite a bit of the details of that, but I didn't know about the CIA, possible CIA involvement or connection. It's called The Strange eBay CIA Connection and Unsolved Mystery. So go and check that out if you guys get a chance to do so. So with that said, I'm only 10 minutes into the live, and a lot of you guys kind of time my diatribe. So there it is. I'm only 10 minutes into that. Hopefully we have some material to start with on our talking points today. Let's see who we have with us. We have Mike Camparelli. Says, hello, John, in the chat. How's everyone? My sales have leveled off quite a bit. After 3 very strong weeks, it's gotten kind of sluggish. Switch on, switch off. Grateful for the 3 weeks I had. And he continues to say, not complaining, but you can't tell me eBay has no role in this. Whether intentional or not, everything I do exactly the same, but sales nosedive nonetheless. Accept and keep grinding, I guess. So let's explore this. Number one, now look, we fault eBay on a lot of things that they do. My main problem with eBay has always been their lack of communication. So they do things on the platform that affect our account, that slow down our sales, and they know it's happening behind the scenes, but they keep their lips shut. They don't say a thing to anyone to give sellers a heads up. Hey, we're working on this part, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. But they don't do that, right? And I'm talking just on a small level to do something like that. But to me, eBay is in business just like we are to make money, right? I don't think eBay cares. I mean, how they make money, they're in business to make money. Now, they have some things that are questionable that go on the site, like showing our competitors the same item once they bought it, causing customer confusion, maybe even at a lower price point, and of course, costing themselves money by having us cancel the higher price sale, and then they either send us an offer to match a price that may or may not exist, or the buyer just goes on and buys the lower priced item. So eBay's losing money in that endeavor, which for the life of me, I don't even know why they would entertain such a thing. But the idea, and a lot of people think this, hey, my sales are being throttled, this, that, and the other thing. The idea that eBay would find ways to not get the sale just doesn't make sense, because they are in the business to make money. Now, does that mean that maybe you're getting throttled because, they're trying to share the wealth? Maybe, and Josh Galt had come up with this theory that maybe you've reached your cap, meaning that all the great sales you've had up to this point, you've kind of hit your max in their eyes, and they're going to kind of slow you down a little bit until, the next quarter, that type of thing. Even though, the next quarter begins in July, right? I believe so. So that maybe is the case. It's hard to say. But then you have the summer slowdown. And look, I'm having a great run right now. Even the last 3 days, it's kind of questionable. It's fallen off about maybe 20, 25%, but I'm not alarmed. I look at some of the days that I had back in early May, and I mean, I had a day of $71. I had a day of $118. I had a $220 day. Some days that are sprinkled in with some good days. So I just think that sometimes buyer behavior, the amount of buyers that look at your items, view your listings, and actually follow through and buy it, aren't always entirely consistent. You can look at your 30-day sales graph and see that there's really no real consistency there. So, always check to see, maybe you had a markdown sale end. Maybe you need to reestablish a coupon. Maybe you weren't using one. Maybe one would help you. Maybe utilize the end item sell similar process, which when I do it, it does seem to help because it's showing additional activity on the platform. So I'm not trying to stick up for eBay. I don't know half of the things that go on behind the scenes. Again, they're putting us in a position where we have to kind of guess about what they're doing, even though it involves our business, which is a shame. And all you can do is worry about the things that you can control. I remember seeing this thing on Instagram about someone giving their best advice to someone who's dealing with a lot of worries. And he mentioned, sit down, write down all the things that you're worried about, and then scratch off all the things that you can't control, right? And focus on the things that are left that you can control. And in this case, what you can control is how you run your business, and that is listing. And I know you Mike, you list consistently. Updating your current listings. Maybe you have a title that needs to be reworked. I think that kind of plays into the end item sell similar process. But a lot of us are in that boat right now that have been in that boat a lot longer, where they've had slow sales. And there's so many things that you can do and drill down to each individual item to figure out what's going on. How many out there have access to the listings quality report? They have been updating every 2 days on mine. And that's a good starting point where you can maybe go in and fix some listings. So nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here, and just keep your head up and keep plugging away. I know you will. Biscuit Butt says, what's up, FAE fam? Howdy, Mike C. Thanks for being here. Callie Deb says, hello, everyone. I hope that you are getting decent sales. Mine are doing so not great, but not bad either. And I think that's kind of the theme that I've seen lately. It's kind of not great, not bad. And we're we're going into we are in the summer months, right? We have another solid 2.5 months before we start dealing with the back to school crowd and all that. So we have to kind of weather the storm and just do everything we can to maximize the number of sales that the site is going to give us. Flip It Good says, happy Monday. Thanks for being here. Kina says, hello, folks. Thanks for being here, Kina. Nice to see you. I believe Mike might be with you, right? We have Ping G says, hello, John, in the chat. Mike, Archie, Debs, Fig, and Kina. Henri Squaw says, howdy, John, and FAE chat. Thanks for being here, Henri Squaw. We have Major Win. Thanks for being here, Major Win. Joe Samard's with us. Samantha Hunter. Chastity, thank you guys for being here. It's awesome to see you. Dark Horse Productions. I have not a clue in this world of what time it is. Well, I think you found out, you figured out at least what time we started today. So that should tell you it's 3 o'clock Pacific. So thank you for being here. Shane Soda City Flips. What's pimpin'? Chat, smash that like button and show love to your host. Yes, thank you, Shane. Appreciate you. Go check out Shane's channel too. I don't know if he's going live tonight. I don't know what days or what evenings he goes live, but I'm sure he'll tell us in the chat. Dark Horse says there's no telling what a hellscape a day before I could even rise in bed. I think some people know exactly how you feel. We just some days don't feel like it. We got to get up and push ourselves to do sometimes things and work that we don't want to do. And especially when your family and friends are out and about having a good time, like Jenna's out with her family until Sunday. She's coming home on Sunday. So I still have another solid week before she returns. And I know she's having a good time, but here I am. I'm working every day. And it's my normal deal. So some days I don't feel it, but I got to get up and push for it anyway. Dark Horse says, how's reselling going? eBay are just horrible people at this point. Now, I want to know why you feel that way. I want to know why you feel that way. And it can't be tied into results. I kind of tie in a lot of the things that I do with reselling with sort of the activities I do outside of reselling, like golf and bowling and all that stuff, poker. I dabble in a lot of different things. And the common denominator between those three events that I do is that you got to find a way to not be results oriented, in that you look at the results and you're like fed up, right? So you're so focused on the results, you're not focused on the execution. And I had to learn that for many years before I really became a really good bowler, right? So I had to learn that, there's a reason why my scores are down. So I had to figure out the things that I wasn't doing, and I had to incorporate those things. So, and it could be a lot of things, from buying a new ball, it could be the ball I'm throwing or the product you're selling, and it could be the way I was doing it. I needed to change something. And I learned only after time and through a lot of coaching and stuff that it's generally not the bowling alley that's doing it to me. Even though are maintaining a certain amount of oil on the lanes and all that, it's generally my ability to adapt to the conditions that were the problem. And I had to learn that on my own. And hopefully that analogy rings with somebody out there, because I know you're not the only one going through it right now. Dark Horse says, did you hear what they did to Commonwealth Picker? I know that they had, I watched a small part of it today. I'm scrambling around getting things done, getting listings done. And something about they removed him from a group, some group, an eBay group that he was in. I really didn't have time to watch the video. Sorry, Kevin. I did try, but I got caught up in a bunch of other things that I had to turn off the TV and really focus on what I was doing. Selling a bunch of lawn equipment. These scalers. There's these machines that go in and till up the ground. And for me, I had to get out there and clean and test. Had about 5 of these different ones. And that's the problem with me and being able to list a lot on my account. I have so many of these items that I have to test assemble, clean, make sure there's no issues that someone would want to return an item for, and then get my photos taken, get it all back in the box and packed away to where it's ready to ship. So there's a lot going on there. I'm not able to watch those videos. But Dark Horse says, I'm deleting my eBay account as soon as I have some time. Cannot do business with them anymore. They're the worst. And look, I look at eBay as a means to an end, right? I'm not looking at eBay. I mean, if that was the case, I would have quit eBay a long time ago just for what they did to the Steiners. If we're being honest with each other, you're talking about, I mean, how do you come back from that? And so for me, is eBay the best place to sell my stuff? And as long as the answer is yes, then I'm going to continue selling the stuff. So I pay eBay not to be my friend. I pay eBay all the fees that they collect because it is a way to take $200 worth of goods and turn it into $1,000 or $1,500. Other platforms, I can't get that level of success on with the stuff that I'm selling. So therefore, I'm staying. And I think most people are. If you do this for financial reasons and not just for a hobby, the wise play might be to just stay no matter how you feel about the organization and just keep plugging away. These are things you can't change. What eBay does and how they treat people, unfortunately, none of us will ever be able to change that. Let's see. Major Win says they kicked him out of the partner program. Yeah, that's what it was, the partner program that they kicked him out of. And I don't know what the partner program actually is, if I'm being honest with you. I've never been invited in the first place from eBay, and nor will I ever, unfortunately, because of the way eBay, I believe, views this channel. Just my own personal beliefs based on my conversations with other people. They only target channels to interact with that have been pro eBay. And, I try to be fair on both sides. Sometimes eBay gets their flowers, but sometimes eBay gets their criticism. And that part of it, they just cannot handle, apparently. And therefore, channels like mine will never get the light of day or see the light of day, being able to be a part of a program like that. Kevin Hawthorne says, good evening. So good evening, Kevin. I hope you're well. You may not be in Lakeland, but I hope everything's going well for you. Ping G says, yes, I saw that video from Kevin and eBay kicking him out of the network. Can't remember what it's called. So yeah, I believe it is what Major Win said. It's the eBay partnership program. Again, I don't know exactly what that entails. How you become a member? Anyone know how you become a member of that? Anyone know what it even is for? And why would they kick out someone like Kevin? Did he say something that they didn't like? Very, very possible. Let's see. Dark Horse says they wonder why I'm the a-hole in the room at our MSP group because I don't want AI. It's nothing but problems. In its infancy, it's learning, right? So there's going to be a lot of problems. I think AI with eBay is better today than it was a year ago. And I know it doesn't seem that way, but all you have to do is go back and watch some videos that maybe Josh put out, maybe videos I put out a year ago, talking about a lot of the problems people were having with AI last year. And it's not as hot of a topic this year. And while search still has a lot to be desired, there's a lot of things going on in the background. I'm a firm believer that AI is learning and it is better, and it's only designed to get better as we move forward. Mike Gertis says, interesting. eBay wants sellers like me who buy their inventory mostly on eBay. Yeah. And then, you buy an item on eBay, you sell it on eBay, and they want another person who'd buy that to resell similar or that item on eBay. I don't know where these ideas come from. It's like, let's sit down at a boardroom and let's brainstorm and try to figure out ways to drum up business. And, Sally raises her hand and says, I got it. Let's have other buyers sell on the platform too. Great idea, Sally. But no one's mentioning the elephant in the room. How about let's get more buyers? And maybe they're against that idea. And as silly as that sounds, I've been told that the product on eBay is not in a place where eBay is willing to invest the kind of money to bring in new buyers for their first experience that ends up being a bad one and they never come back. So that's what I was told from the gentleman that I was speaking to months ago that had an inside source. And that was the answer that I had a question that I had for him that he was able to get an answer for me. And that was the answer that he was given. Now, I mean, that's just as illogical to me as, you know, hey, let's see if we can get this new buyer over here to start selling on the platform. So I would love to be someone that sits in those boardroom meetings and said, hey guys, have you thought about this? And just to see what they say. Major Win says eBay needs to be cool again. It needs to. I don't think, in my opinion, eBay was ever really cool. It was a place to go. You knew it was there. They had brand recognition, and you knew it was there as a place to go and buy whatever you were looking for, right? eBay was known for that. And I think if you ask random people right now, where would they go if they needed to buy a replacement part for whatever, eBay would be on the list of folks that maybe are over 40. But the younger generation probably would be like, what, Mercari? I don't know, Amazon. So eBay needs to do a better job of building name recognition, not to the people who already know who eBay is, but the younger generation, and to show them it is a viable place to buy your everyday things. Jake DeWert says, yeah, it doesn't seem like a strategy worth their time and resources. I don't think so. But then again, who am I? I guess I'm just a peon. You would think that eBay would watch these videos from the top down and try to find ideas for their little boardroom sessions to implement based on feedback from everyday sellers. And this is one idea that just doesn't make sense right now. Maybe down the line, but not until you build your business back up. Victor says management is out of touch as it's been for the last 15 years. And why is that? Well, number one, I believe that most of the folks in the boardroom have never listed one item. Now, I might be wrong. Maybe they're required to, but to actually live the day in and day out of a seller that sells on this platform, they have no idea. They're so far out of touch. They think it's a happy experience. And while for many people it is a happy experience, if you sell enough items on the platform, you're going to run into the problems that eBay itself presents. And they are just totally oblivious to that, in my opinion. Dark Horse says eBay is not in touch because they suck at business. I mean, results speak for themselves, I guess, right? I mean, they're having issues. They have upset sellers on the platform and buyers for that matter. That's why they're leaving the platform. That to me should be the first way or place to visit to fix the problem. Let's see what we can do to stop the hemorrhaging. Let's keep the sellers and buyers that we have. And then once that's done and the changes are implemented, let's get a campaign out there to bring in more people to build up the buyer base. And for me, it's the buyer. I'm more interested in the buyer base than the seller base. I think many people would agree there's enough sellers on the platform. We got Todd in the house, Silver Hair Stacker. How you doing, Todd? Glenda says, hello, John and the FAE family. Thanks for being here, Glenda. Nice to see you. We have Mike Sellers says, greetings, John and FAE family. Nice to see you, Mike. Thanks for being a member. I appreciate you. We have Callie Deb says, one time eBay said that they were letting the government in the back door to keep us safe. That's through the, I forgot what act it was that they implemented that was trying to curtail counterfeits. Off the top of my head, I don't know. eBay Main Street might tell me, but I think you guys remember which one that was, where they are trying to implement your address and phone number if you're not able to maintain a certain level on your account. And while that did pass, I don't know too many people who were affected by it. Devon's with us. Thanks for being here. my husband was watching that eBay video. I think it was really well made, and I know that Rockstar Flipper is involved in another video that's coming out, but this one was kind of eye-opening. Like, wow, how if it is true, now I'll put that disclaimer out there, if it is true, why do you have a former CIA person at all involved in your operations? I'm sure you saw this person's resume and know that if it was for security, right, to stop people from talking about eBay in a bad way, then that's telling in itself. If you're hiring that person for that reason, why would you need to hire someone like that unless you knew that something that you didn't like was going on and being reported? So that to me was kind of an eye-opener. So I don't know it's hard to fact check these videos too. So again, take it with a grain of salt, watch it for entertainment purposes. But I thought if it's true, it's very, very eye-opening, but I'll leave it at that. Todd says, I brought home 1,800 toothbrush holders from the auction today, listed in lots of 5. If I sell one a week, I will sell out in 6.9 years. And the problem, there's really not a problem with that. I don't know what you're selling it for. If you have room for all of it, it sounds like you have quite a bit of those. So if you have room for all that for one, see, like, for instance, we bought all those shoes, those girls size 2 shoes. I mean, we sat on those for like the longest time. Mike Biddle came and picked them up. We gave them away. He's like, here, take them, because we just don't have the room. We have wanted to create room for other things. We still have maybe another box or 2 of them. It's like 6 pairs. But for me, it just really depends. How much space do you have? If you have plenty of space, then hey, it's just one of those things where you list one item, one listing. It's a multi-quantity listing. You don't have to really worry about it. Just set it and forget it. But for me, it's got to really have a decent sell-through return to make it worth doing that. Mike Sellers says sales were steady this weekend. Awesome. I know, Mike, you've had some success in general. And I think you made some key changes to your business, and you're seeing that success. And a lot of it is through higher sell-through rate stuff. Again, items that have interest, people are going to buy regardless of the season. And that is, to me, I think, key. I think a lot of folks are still not buying or are willing to change how they buy. And Kevin Commonwealth Picker actually put out a video, or not a video, but a community post that I thought was pretty interesting, in that, do you promote on eBay? Simple question. Do you promote on eBay as a seller? And I believe 55% of sellers say they use promoted listings. So that tells me about 45% don't. Now, in my opinion, I'd say about 20% of the categories have items that are so unique and few competition that you don't really need to promote. Maybe that's a rough number. I don't have any numbers to back that up, but I'm just giving you if I was to throw a number on it, it would be about 20 to 25% of the listings on eBay really don't need to be promoted. The other 75%, you are up against competition. And if you have competition, chances are they're promoting and they have a leg up on you. And the only way to even that playing field is to A, your price, and B, to promote. And I think that there is a hesitation to do that. And it just makes me wonder how serious those people are do they want to make sales even though they know they're giving more money to eBay? I would rather give eBay an extra 20 cents on the dollar if it means I'm making 20 to 30% more in sales than I would. And I believe that's a low number. I think it's a higher number once you promote. You make a lot more sales. And I can only tell you I'm going to be putting out a video at some point on this to show you that I had forgotten that like 90 of my items, for whatever reason, on my second account weren't even promoted, right? That's like 70% of my store. And it wasn't until I turned promotions on for those listings that the sales came. And I'm not killing it on that store, but I had virtually no sales for about 2 weeks. Jovial Juggler says, hey, FAA fam, happy National Egg Day. For some of us, it's Goose Egg Day. Yeah, unfortunately, goose egg day, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow is going to be a goose egg day. So many things, guys, that we can do as resellers, but are you willing to do those things? And that is many of the things that I've mentioned on previous shows that I'm not going to keep repeating myself. I know I'm kind of known for that, but there's so many things that you can do to improve your progress and to change your circumstance. Let's see. Semper Fi in the house. Keeping on listing and keep on rolling. Sales will come, adapt and overcome. Yeah. I mean, what else can we do? I think quitting is the worst option. Quitting is the absolute worst option because sales are out there. It's a puzzle. eBay has continually created this puzzle that's ever changing. So just as we think we've figured it out, something else changes and we have to navigate around. So I don't blame eBay for my problems, or like when I do have bad days. I blame eBay for the obstacles they create, and they make the experience a little less enjoyable for a lot of people than it needs to be. Major Win says, yeah, our last few days have been very solid for us. Can't complain given the summer season. Excellent. Keep going. That's all you can do. Dark Horse says, with respect, do you realize how ridiculous that statement is? What statement? I mean, I've made a lot of statements, but if I'm wrong in something, I'll be the first to admit it if you make a good point. But first of all, we have to figure out what statement you're talking about. Semper Fi says, hit the like button and get a sale, or we will give you a refund of whatever you spent to hit that button. So, which is usually $0, but you know what I'm saying? We put it out there for you guys. It's positive karma, and get that sale. Dark Horse says, you hit your max on the platform. Now we're slowing you down. That's absurd. I'm not saying that was my statement. Okay. Again, I don't know if you see, this is the thing. This is why a lot of people get upset at me in the chat, right? Because they don't hear everything I say. So what I said was, or it could be what Josh was talking about, that you could be maxed out. So I was just trying to explain the position that he took, Josh Galt. And while I don't necessarily even agree with that statement, it's at least it's a theory, right? And I think a lot of times we're in the position as sellers on this platform that we have to sort of form our own thought and theory as to what the hell is going on here. You know, you feel like you've done everything that you're supposed to do, but yet you're still not getting the sales. And so we, as humans, we start to form a conclusion. So again, that's a statement that I didn't make. Again, if you go back and rewind the program, I did state that it was something that Josh had talked to me about, had mentioned to me. Devon says, I made more sales on Posh this weekend than eBay. It's quite possible, especially if you're selling on Posh. You're probably in a very congested category on eBay, like clothing and shoes. Not to say that's all that's sold on Poshmark, but that's what they're known for. And I see fewer competition for the same item on Poshmark than I see on eBay. Nick Rinaldi, we as resellers have to accept we don't have a salary. My last 4 days on eBay were $67, $400, $900, $600. It's what we signed up for. We're all in sales. Here's the nice thing about eBay that a lot of people don't really think about as it's compared to a 9-to-5. Most 9-to-5 jobs, you're working 5 days a week. If you're lucky enough to get a 40-hour-a-week job, maybe you have a job that gives you some overtime, but generally 40 hours is where most people are at. Well, that's 5 days of work. So you have 2 days of work where you're off. You're not getting paid. $0. You get $0. Now you get your day off, right? I think I know some managers that have a salary that's based on 5 days, and they still have to field calls and emails on weekends when it's supposed to be their day off. But they're not getting a cent for that more than what they normally get paid. On eBay, you get paid 7 days a week. Now, some days are better than others, but that's the beautiful thing to me. You get paid 7 days a week, and you don't even have to necessarily work 7 days. You can run drafts and have them scheduled out and take 2 days a week if you want. Take that time off. And to me, that's the beautiful thing about not just eBay, but reselling in general. All the platforms, you get paid 7 days a week. Gail Carlson says, hello, John and FAE family. Thanks for being here, Gail. Nice to see you. We have Christine Anti-Everyone Anderson. I get accused of that every so often. Question, has anyone seen an increase in sales by adding an item category to your listing? For example, adding a Nike polo to both men's polo shirts and men golf clothing. So basically paying for an extra category. That is a good question. It's not something that I do. I'm not interested in if it's not really going, and this is something I like to learn about, because there's been many opportunities to list in a second category, but I don't do it because if there's not going to yield me more sales, if it's not going to generate more sales, it's not really an expense that I want to utilize, like the bold listings or that type of thing. So I'd like to know from anyone who's tried it if they have found that their sales are better because of it. Grammy's Miniatures says, I'm getting sales in chunks from certain states, like one day all from Massachusetts. Very strange. That is very, very interesting. Again, we can formulate what is called a hypothesis, right? A educated guess as to what's going on. But I think most of us, in fact, almost all of us resellers, are forming these educated guesses based on the limited information that eBay is not giving us. So we have to kind of form it on our own. Juan Garcia says, happy Monday. Thanks for being here, Juan. Nice to see you. We have Ken, No One Designs, his quick question. Does anyone notice the draft you open on eBay, the position where it is, or the position where it is opened is the description area? It's usually open towards the top where the photos were before. Nitpicking? Probably. I have not noticed that. When I go to a draft, like for instance, I can fire up one right now, and I'm assuming you're talking about on the PC, but I fire it up and it goes right to the description. So I am one that likes to look at the things that eBay does as a hint. You know, we talk about the things that eBay outright comes out with, like the listing quality report. For those of you who do have it, they'll say, hey, here's what you need to focus on. But don't you think that is a clue that I think they want more people to focus on? So they because I'm going right to the item description on the PC when I pull up a draft. Maybe it is a hint that, guys, you need to fill in your item descriptions, because chances are you're going to complete or add in keywords that you cannot fit in your title. I believe that's probably what eBay's doing. The problem is they're not coming out and saying it. I mean, maybe they feel it's a waste of their time, but maybe a newsletter to sellers every week, maybe every month. Now we have the seller check-in that's happening this week on Thursday, but I'm talking about just a general newsletter as to here's what's changing, here's why we're changing, here's our focus, and here's what we want sellers to start focusing on, because it's baked into the algorithm and you'll get more sales in turn, but they just refuse to communicate like that with us. Major Win says, we've started to watch the new guy on the scene, Phoenix Sales 85. He's already kicking our out butts and his videos are great. Okay. Always good new channels popping up. The problem is there's so many YouTube channels nowadays. Just crazy. And it's funny because I went back in the past. I watched one of Tommy Bernard. I don't know if he's here with us or not, but watched one of Tommy Bernard's final lives that he had Pete Craigslist Hunter on there, and they were saying a lot of things that I hear people say right now. Craigslist Hunter was saying how, nowadays, and this is back in 2020, nowadays, there's just so many people doing YouTube channels for eBay, and it's even more now, right? So I can only see as we continue down, social media is going to be even bigger, and more people are going to take a shot at making content for all kinds of different topics. Dark Horse says eBay should tear down the old mainframe infrastructure and go strictly mobile until they can afford to build all new infrastructure. I agree with that. I don't know if it's an afford thing, because from what I understand, they have cash reserves. They do have capital. Their focus is on AI. That is their main. That's where they're putting a lot of their investment in, is AI. And unfortunately, when you're dealing with an entity and they've got their mind made up of the vision that they're on, they're not going to take a whole lot of stock from us sellers, regardless of how we feel about it. Dark Horse says, I feel this way because what they did do Commonwealth to Commonwealth Picker, one of the nicest, most reasonable human beings I've come across. He's done nothing but support the platform and promote them. AI probably cost him his position. That aside, though, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can look at eBay for and are just disgusted about. I've mentioned a few, but I think at this point, if you're making money, now I don't know if you're making money on the platform or not. That could have something to do with it. But if you're making money on the platform, it is a viable way for you to earn money or make a living, then I think you're allowing your feelings to get in the way, and feelings should never, never, never be involved in your business decisions. No matter how strongly we feel about what's going on here or there, your feelings are, last time I checked, my feelings don't make me money. I can feel strongly about something, but I can't change those things. You cannot change how they treat Kevin. You cannot change how they treat the next guy, because Kevin's not going to be the last one that gets the axe from this group. There's going to be other people that are not deserving that are going to get this treatment, and you cannot control that. What you can control are the things that you have right in front of you, and the choices you make within your business. Let's see. Lori Brackenmeyer says, I have noticed that drives me crazy. I spend time scrolling up, but I really think, yeah, when you're looking at your draft and it puts you into the item description, I think it's eBay's way of saying, hey guys, start here, fix this first, make sure that this is complete. It's almost like it's creating an awareness that it's there. I've seen so many listings where, you get a one-liner, it's like, because sometimes I'm looking at a listing for an item I've never sold before. And so I'm looking at a sold to see how they sold it. What verbiage did they use? How did they have problems that they described? What price did they get? All this thing. But I'm looking at the item description just to kind of pick up on how they sold this item. And many that do sell are lacking. Duncan VR says, sold 2 separate envelopes from 1840 for $300 each, among other stuff. So sales are good here. Are getting enough listed? You need to list a certain dollar amount to make bank. And yes, that is the key, adding enough value. So to me, it's not about how many items you're listing. It's about how much money are you actually putting into your store. So when you pull up your active listings, the first thing that pops up at the top is, it'll show the number of items you have listed, but it'll show you how much dollar value do you have listed. And are you maintaining that, or are you growing that? Those are the two things that you need to look for. And so if you're not listing more than you're selling, that is not growth. That's kind of, you're taking a step back. And that's happened to me a couple days. The sales have been some days much better than what I'm able to actually put in value. Todd says oil in the lanes is code for, if anybody who bowls knows that there's oil in the lanes to kind of change how your ball reacts, right? It's the bowling alley's way of kind of making things a little bit more difficult. And it is code for eBay doing random things to the site, maybe behind the scenes, that is affecting our listings in some way. And as sellers, we have to figure out how to navigate through that so that we don't fall flat on our face. Glenda Bivona says, I rarely buy for myself on eBay, but recently I ordered 2 things and had a bad experience with each. And now I'm willing to bet, Glenda, that you, being a seller on the platform, are going to give eBay, or the experience on eBay, a little leeway, right? So you might buy again next time. It makes me wonder how many people go on to eBay, have a bad experience for their first time, and say, screw this, I will never buy an item on here again. And it just could have been they had the luck of the draw, a bad luck of the draw, and had a bad seller who had just really no idea what they're doing, or they just have no business selling on the platform. But guess what? That buyer is now gone, and forget convincing them to sell on the platform. They're not buying again, and that's a big problem. No One Design says, pro tip, major win. If you feel that making YouTube videos are being a pain, just record your voice and voice it over with some animation of jumping cats on a loop. Who doesn't love cats or dogs? Yeah, I love that. Dark Horse says, I'm going to be fine. I've gotten through the hardest part because that's what men do. We get it done. We build and we lead, just needs some restructuring. Gotta fight through whatever, whatever issues that eBay or whatever roadblocks eBay is putting in your way, and control what you can. That's the only message I can give you on that. Major win. As long as you hit the like, you should be good. Here's hoping for you. Hit that like, guys, and get your sale within the next 24 hours. Dark Horse says, I had the MSP stuff kind of running on autopilot for the most part. When I get back there with IT services, then I can turn my focus to reselling much more. And he goes on to say, what you said makes perfect sense. It's just a tool, and I shouldn't get emotional with it. You shouldn't. You should not allow emotions. I think that's a big mistake. Not just you, but a lot of people have. In this case, I don't think that, there's chances that you don't get emotional with other things that involve your business. But in this case, I think you're kind of allowing your loyalty towards Kevin. And look, I'm not happy about it either. I think Kevin's a friend. I've talked to Kevin a few times on the phone outside of YouTube. We've had good conversations, and I think he's a great stand-up guy. And not knowing what's going on behind the scenes, I don't know why they would do something like this to him, but I'm certainly not going to stop listing and selling on the platform. Juan says, it's the best platform available for the sales that we need, except for possibly Amazon. Have to be emotion neutral and do what's best for your business. Yes. And for me, Amazon has always been kind of in the picture, but the barrier to entry is much more difficult. I pick up something that, this would be great on Amazon. I get on there to try to list it. You're gated. You need an invoice from a distributor showing 10 of these items before we'll even consider it. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not selling that. So I return back to what, my roots are, which is eBay. And I just kind of do that. I know, like Bearded Picker, he's in it. He's in Amazon. And that's just something I need to be better at. That's one of the things. I get into Amazon, I list things, and then I forget it's there. I'm focused on eBay. Jenna, she's not here this week, but she's behind the scenes. She does things, and she's constantly cross-posting, right? So she's getting our items onto other platforms. It's always great if you can have that partner that can help you do the things that's going to take you away from the main business, which for me is my main store on eBay. Then that's a lot. A lot of people out there are just one person, right? And I know what that's like, because for a long time, Jenna didn't do anything with the business. She had no interest in it. But there's, I take her off the listings and allow her to do some of the things that she has really gotten really good at. Then that's a benefit. Let's see. We got the eBay Grind Grandma. Thanks for being here. How are you today? Nice to see you. Nick Picker, the partner program is just their affiliate program. Anyone can be in it if you just have to sign up. So what would cause eBay to remove somebody from that program? And I take it that Kevin's not watching. I'm sure he would kind of say something, or he'd say, at least watch my video, which I probably should, but I wasn't expecting it to come up on the live. So therefore I just didn't finish the video today. Dark Horse is very much in its infancy. Give it a year or so, things will get better. I agree with you there. Tommy Bernard says, it's when you use your link to eBay for commission. Seems odd to do something to lose that. So I guess now my homework is to go and check out Kevin's video. Henri Squaw says, it appears that it is an affiliate marketing program. And Rob Something says, to be fair, they kicked Commonwealth Picker off the program because he did not have the required affiliate disclosures. They emailed him 2 times and he did not take the required action. Kevin did it to himself. So I guess he has to disclose that somewhere as part of the program. Mike says, Kevin failed to renew. It was a secondary email account he didn't use much. Okay. No One Design says, I think after the minor update that took place on their eBay app and the site changed that up with the draft, I bet it was some IT nut who hit any key in the update script. Who knows? Who knows? I tend to read into, the messages, the subliminal messages that eBay leaves for us. A lot of them are in the overview screen in your seller hub. I think a lot of people ignore. For me, it's why would eBay do this? So now that you brought it to my attention, because look, I'm scrolling up, I'm in the middle of whatever I'm doing. I'm not paying a whole lot of attention. But for those who are paying attention and are getting annoyed at why does it keep taking me to the item description in my draft instead of the top, I think maybe the logical explanation is eBay is just trying to get us to know it's there. Tommy says at least he got a video out of it. That's the important part. I think, this is the thing about YouTube. I think sometimes we have absolutely nothing to talk about, and then here comes a situation. You get an email from eBay, and we're like, well, I can make a video on this. So, Kevin's making videos like almost daily, and there's not a whole lot to say that he hasn't said. Mother's Mustache says, ain't that the truth? Yes. Samantha Hunter says, John, I must apologize for my soapbox speech last time. Just got so passionate and annoyed with eBay's running the corporation. No, I get it. No need to apologize to me. This is kind of what this forum is for. We all get together, we speak our mind, we talk it out, and we sometimes agree with each other, sometimes we don't, but it's a place we can come and respectfully, discuss our ideas. Let's see. Samantha says, they're just making some of us confused and tired. And yeah, the obstacle course that we deal with the platform, it can make you tired and annoyed and all that, right? There's a lot of things that, forget the site. There's a lot of things within eBay's own policy that is somewhat annoying, or how they treat the seller, or give us really zero benefit of the doubt when something goes wrong with the sale. But you got to look at it as all these situations are a very small percentage of your experience with eBay. And in my particular situation, the fact that it is a viable place to sell your stuff overrides everything else that you might see me make videos on or talk about. But I'm still listing every day because it works. It works, guys. Tommy says, sell teeth whitening on TikTok shop if you want the 20-somethings. Well, eBay's got to figure something out. They got to find a way to get their brand in the mind of this younger generation. Peddling Profit says, we prefer buying on eBay than any other platform. eBay was really cool in the beginning for many, many years. Now, I wonder if it was cool for many, many years because it was sort of the only game in town. And then here comes Amazon in the mid 2000s, right? I'm wondering if that was sort of like, well, this is the only place I can do this online thing, right? I can go down to Walmart, I can go down to Best Buy, I can go to Circuit City back in the day. But the cool thing is to buy it from home and have it shipped to me. And that was sort of a new phenomenon. I think at that time, we're talking, the internet was only like 10 years old for the mainstream. And it was the place to go. But as more competitors, more competition has hit the scene. And now what's happened is, like Mercari, 3-day returns, that's appealing to sellers on eBay. And it causes sort of like a resentment towards the platform. Well, why are you making me have 30 days? You see all these other platforms that are doing things that eBay should incorporate, but yet they don't. And I think that's a lot of it right there. Mother's Mustache says, I never have issues with eBay. Seriously, if I list, I get sales. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. Peddling Profits, hey, how are you? I hope everything is good. Mother's Mustache. Tommy says, Roman doesn't understand English, and Todd is turning 104 next year. And they do fine on eBay. I don't think eBay is the problem. I think, and this is the truth, that's going to get a lot of negative comments, and that's fine. I'm known of being the realist, right? I think as resellers, we want the best for ourselves. Of course, who doesn't? We want to make as much money as we can on the platform, but we get in our own way. I think some people, like the poll that Kevin was talking about, 55 to 45, 55 that do promote, 45 that don't so far in the poll. Why? If you're serious about selling, why aren't you promoting? Are these the same folks who got on my case about saying, look, taking an item that's at a yard sale for $5, trying to get it for $2 or $3, right? Saying that, well, I don't haggle at yard sales. In fact, I pay the full ask, or sometimes I pay even more. But yet, are these the same people who won't promote? They'll pay too much for the item to sell, or they won't even make an attempt or much of an attempt to get it for less, but they will not, for any circumstances, give eBay another dime, even if it's 3% more, which could turn into 20 to 30% more in sales. And I think I'm really low at that number. I think the number is higher than that. I think you're going to get a lot more sales than that if you play eBay's game. eBay is in it for themselves, guys. eBay is not in it for you and your feelings. eBay is in it to make money for their shareholders. They have a fiduciary responsibility to the people that have, shares in their company, and they have to. If they don't report earnings, guess what? Jamie Ionnone is going to be working somewhere else because they're going to find someone else who can. So that is their focus. How do we get more money? Forget the sellers. Forget the buying experience, the selling experience. Our goal is to get more money. And you better believe if that means getting as many sellers. That article I just read you said that promoted listings was a big money maker for them, right? So that is their goal. How do they get you to promote? And if that means that it's going to get you more sales, and for those who don't promote are going to be left out going, why am I not selling? I'm doing everything right. That could be a big part of it. You refuse to play the game and you're getting in your own way. So now let the comments fly. That's fine. But that's my perspective. And I'm only giving you that perspective because I'm promoting and it works, guys. I'm telling you. Tommy's no design says, Tommy, you need to understand English to not understand English. Roman has mastered that. And Roman is very good at the beans. He does his sourcing at the beans, and I love Roman. He's a great guy. I just don't know where he's at. So I'd love for him to chime in if he's watching. Peddling profits. Life is good on our end. That's awesome to see. Little happy face action from Peddling Profits. Ping G says, toothbrush holders. I thought you purchased toothbrushes. So what is it, Todd? Is it toothbrush holders or is it toothbrushes? Tommy Bernard says, I was suggested a video about CIA and eBay on YouTube the other day. 370,000 views in 9 days. Of course, Rockstar is making a video. LOL. That wasn't a Rockstar video, though. That I was fully expecting him to pop up like out of a bush saying, hey, guys, I'm here in this video and checked out my listing service and back to the program. I was waiting for him to jump on and promote his business, but it didn't happen. So I know that's not the video that he's a part of. Samantha Hunter says, another shock for me today. I lost my thrift store. It closed up. Now I have to find a place to source. I live in the freaking country as it is, but look at the bright side, maybe a better spot. So if it's any, I don't think I'll necessarily make anyone feel better, but I got to tell you, a place that I go to out here locally where I buy most of my stuff has really, it may not be there, within a year. So it's one of those things where I got to be proactive knowing this. So, it could be, right? Could be the same as it is now, but I'm hearing things. And so it's, once you start hearing the rumblings of that, then you really got to start looking other places, not putting all your eggs in one basket. Silver hair, yay, Ping, they are advertised as toothbrushes, but presto, changeo, they are holders. So you can't, now that's kind of an INAD situation, right? So the buyer that you bought this from, do you have any recourse there? Because I would think there's probably a little bit more value in the toothbrushes themselves than the actual holders, unless they're holders for like some of the electric toothbrushes, like a travel holder. Rob something, penny wise, pound foolishness. That's the mindset of lots of sellers, unfortunately. It's unfortunate. And the changes there, you can make the changes. Is it going to be comfortable to give an extra 3%? I would say if the sales are there, if the sales happen as a result of that, you're not even going to notice it. You're going to see, wow, things are better. The sales are here. Am I making, exactly what I was thinking I'd make per item? No, you're making a little bit less, but you're flipping more. And I'll never understand it. Jake says, I'm in a niche market with not too many competitors, and I worry that boosting my listings actually emits them due to ad blockers on people's browsers more than it would actually increase my sales or omit them on they're being shown. So eBay has had a problem lately, and it's a problem that they had a few years ago, where when promoted listings rolled out, the ad blockers that people had, because it says sponsored on the listing, it would take those results out and you just see the organic listings. And the eBay went in and fixed that. And then there's a program, forgot the name, I had it written down somewhere, but there's a program that I don't use that now, it's a free download from Chrome and it'll do the same thing. So it's just a matter of eBay getting in there and fixing whatever they did before to prevent their item from showing up as a pop-up type ad. It's should show up the same as an organic listing, but for that particular pop-up program, it's not. So for me, look, it's just an obstacle. Sales might get slower for all of us. I mean, throughout this whole thing, I've been promoting almost every listing in my store, and my sales have been better than ever. So you would think that that's affecting me probably the same percentage as it's affecting you. Just got to keep pushing forward with best practices. And I think using promoted listings for most categories. Now you say that you don't have too many competitors, so maybe you're not promoting all that aggressively, maybe at a 2.1 to 3%, if anything. I still think you got to play the game, because when you promote, you're getting more than just what's shown in someone's search results. If you promote, you're in, like, go pull up one of your listings. You're going to see items that are similar to yours in right before you get to the item description. And beyond that, if you're on the app, you get a ton of them, right? Those are promoted listings. You're not going to get that kind of placement if you are organic and don't promote. The complaints that we have about buyers seeing or sellers that are dealing with buyers who see our same item in the summary page after they bought the item, those aren't organic. Those are promoted listings. So I think it is about competition. But if you want your item shown in those other places, you got to promote in some way for any item, is the way it's worked out. Let's see. Samantha says, John, I hit the like button and it disappeared. I don't know about this problem with YouTube. That's weird, huh? Well, you can refresh and then come back and see if it's there. Todd says, Doug, there may never be an end to this. There may never be an end. Bearded PokeTuber, if you throw enough spaghetti at the wall, some of it will bounce, is bound to stick, I suppose. And you're right, it is. But the board members have to be a little bit more than that. They have to they got all the data. I mean, geez, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that if you want more sales, you need more buyers, right? And you can't spend time trying to convert these people into wanting to become sellers. It's like, and if you are going to do something like that, let's make them go through a 30-minute process before they even sell their first item to show them what the best practices are, so they don't just get up there and wing it and piss off more buyers who'll never come back. No One Design says, I have a cousin who is a few bucks short or full carrot, and she for the longest was using a toothbrush holder as a tampon holder. Oh my goodness. I guess sometimes you got to implement and use what you have. Silver Hair, thinking of making a bundle listing of all my non-selling crap. It would include nail polish, earplugs, electric plugs, toothbrush holders, and Band-Aids. And just put it in as a travel kit or something like that. That would be a good idea. Put it all together as a must-have, like, emergency travel kit, and see if you can get any sales that way. It's funny. I was watching Tommy's. I wish Tommy you'd come back with the lives. Those were great. That conversation that you had, or at least one of them, because I was checking out a few of the different lives. You had said something that it's just as relevant then as it is today. You're talking about getting in there and trying to remove crap out of your store. And you said that worked for you. And I don't think the algorithm, aside from AI, I don't think the algorithm has changed all that much in theory. I think it's pretty much the same things that the algorithm is looking for. The more slower selling, non-demand items you have sitting in your store, the less um, the less eBay wants to promote your items. That's just the way I've seen it. I've seen it too many times happen to me. Silver Hair said that already. We're going to continue here. No One Designs is a major win. Each generation onwards, it seems the IQ gets lower. I think, unfortunately, this generation or recent generations, they've been trained from a very small age, a very young age, to sit on their iPad, sit on their phone, and watch videos and not read and things like that, right? Like we used to. I'm Gen X, so I was a teenager when technology, Commodore 64, Atari. Well, I was in elementary school with Atari, but Nintendo, all these gaming systems. The idea of being able to walk around with a computer in my hand, that didn't happen until I was an adult, right? So I think the newer generations just weren't raised that way. Tommy, Christine, eBay also populates how people search high to low when you're typing. It also will populate categories occasionally. Using the first category, they auto-populate wins. Here's Bearded Picker. Nice to see you. Doug, do you have a spy camera I don't know about? Tommy says most searches are done by words, not category. Won't move the needle in my opinion. Yeah, and that's why for me it's more about, I think there's a number of people out there right now who have a great listing and don't even realize their items are listed in the wrong category because they piggybacked off of another listing. I do it all the time. I catch it all the time. And once you change that, I was in the wrong category altogether, you're probably going to find that that's going to help you more than trying to get multiple categories. Samantha Hunter, John, why do you think eBay has removed the description info once you type it in? You can only view what you typed in if you have to revise it. I don't see them removing. So like when I have my description there, I type it all in, right? Well, I really don't. I copy and paste it from different sources. Usually I use Gemini AI to help me formulate an item description. But once I put it in there and I've saved the listing, it's not going anywhere. Now, if you're looking at someone's listing in the eBay app, it just gives you a little hyperlink on item description. You would think that something else like item specifics would be hyperlinked. Like if you want more item specifics on this item, click here. But the item description should be prominent because that's where a lot of people put, like, here's the blemishes, here's the benefits of this item. And I think there's a lot of INADs caused because of that. I can tell you right now, I had an upset buyer, and I know that there's a number of things that went wrong with that. For instance, not only did they not read my item description, they didn't read the condition description, but I'm a firm believer because they bought a used cat litter box, one of those automated cat litter boxes, right? That whenever the cat goes in and does their thing, it does its like cleaning out and it goes back to the reset. And those are sold used usually because it comes with a temporary litter tray that goes in the bottom with of course, litter is, you got to replace that every so often. So I just had the mechanism, and that's all I sold. That's all I advertised. I sold it as used. So they bought it. They bought mine for like $70 plus shipping. These things are like $250 brand new. They got it. They're mad because I shipped in the original box that advertised that it has litter, that it has the temporary litter tray. But I never advertised the box. I just shipped it in the box as part of my shipping. And they were mad because it wasn't new. It says, furthermore, you said it was new. No, the listing says it was used. Now, why would the buyer think all these things? That they're getting a brand new item. I know why. Because they bought a brand new item for $150. They checked out. They paid for it. Here I am promoting my used one. Well, I can get it for $70 plus shipping. I'm going to cancel this and I'm going to buy this one. Not ever reading the listing, just seeing the price. And now they're mad at me because they bought my used one, remembering what they read in the new listing. I'm convinced of that. So they left me a false positive, with photos saying all this stuff. And it's like, look, man, I just sold you what was advertised. So that's my little tirade there. Larry, way out. Thanks for being here, Larry. Nice to see you. Hi, Tommy Scott and Major Wind. But I'm sure you meant to say hi to me too. So how you doing, Larry? Tommy says, that sounds like a brilliant life plan. I hate eBay because they are a meanie to a YouTuber taking my ball and going home. Yeah, get your emotions out of that. Get it all out of there and focus on the things that you can. That's my advice there. My Gertis says, you have to sell your soul to be with the biggins. No, thank you. Christine, Anti-Everyone Anderson, if item description was so important, why hide it in a link in the mobile app? Well, the item description is important because it contains keywords that you cannot fit within 80 characters. So that's your title. So you have a great title, but there's other things that you can say about the listing that AI is picking up. Like say someone's typing certain words in your search that may not be in your title, but might be in the keyword. That might get it a little bit better exposure in the search because you have those keywords that they're looking for in your item description. So eBay is not really thinking of it as a way to avoid an INAD, which I believe they should. They're looking at the importance of an item description as fill it out because you're bound to put in keywords that a buyer is bound to search for. So that is, in my opinion, why it's done that way. But I really think that they would avoid a bad buyer experience if they can make the, item description prominent so they can see, the buyer can really see what they're getting. If it's a new item, then I can see why you wouldn't need that. But if it's a open box, if it's because some people want the box, it's some open box items, you're not getting the actual retail box. If it's a used item, you might have scratches or there might be something missing. There might be this or that, and it's buried in the item description. That's not good. No One Design says, I have feelings all the time in my business. Just today, I felt the photo area was messy and felt the break room was a mess and felt my crackheads get paid too much. Feeling is a part of business, but you didn't act on those feelings. That's the difference. You guys know I get passionate about a lot of the things that happens on eBay, a lot of the roadblocks that we see, but I'm not changing the way I work. I may not like what I see, but I'm not going to say, you know what, I'm done. Now, I'm only going to be done when they stop sending me the money. Now, that's one thing that eBay can screw up that really get me to think otherwise on that is when they stop sending the money, but they haven't yet. eBay has been very good. They always send it on Tuesday, and I get it on Wednesday, and it works like clockwork. Mike Seller, I've been listing my John Deere manuals and decided to list them at the upper end as far as price. Okay. I kind of do that with my items. I'll try to get it mid to upper because in my mind, I'm thinking my markdown sale is going to kick this down 10%. And then I have a 10% coupon on top of that. By the time those things kick in, I'm going to be like at the lower side of the spectrum. So you got to be strategic when you're setting up your prices, depending on what you're doing. Diamond Roy says, sold a 1969 Redline Hot Wheel Mustang Boss Haas for $600 plus shipping this morning. Got it for $1 at a garage sale this weekend. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Now, it sounds to me like you knew what you were looking for. I wonder if I would have walked right by it. I probably would have. Mike Seller says, number 2, strange thing happened. My sales are up, my ASP is up, and I'm getting quicker and better feedback from my buyers. The race to the bottom is not the answer in my case, in my opinion. And I agree. Now, some people would say that maybe I'm involved in a race to the bottom if I'm into an item for $1. So let's take Diamond Roy's situation. Okay, he has this Mustang Boss Haas for $600. He has it listed for $600, and he has, best offer enacted. I'm wondering if he would have taken $400 for it. So if someone would have made him an offer $400, I'm wondering if he would have taken $400. And would that be the right thing to do? And is that racing to the bottom when you take a markdown deal like that? Maybe the history, the previous solds in Terapeak don't support you going down to $400. But do you wait for 6, hold out, or do you take the $400? I'm curious what you guys would do. Roman, there he is. Waking up ain't easy. Hello, everyone. Well, I'm glad this show woke you up. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Major Win says, hey, Roman, how are you, man? Roman's a good guy. If you ever check out his lives on Saturday, he has a really good time. You're not going to learn anything on those lives. I'll just be totally honest with you, but you're going to have a good time hanging out with him. I can tell you that. The Thrifty Loon says, thanks for having me. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. It's awesome. Ken says, if they paid you for sleep, Roman would be a millionaire. That's no further from the truth. I know a lot of people like that who just think that, I can list a few items a day and sleep the rest of the day. If it works for you, hey, then you're doing it right. For me, that wouldn't work. Jovio says, oil on the bowling lanes changes how the body reacts when sliding down it. If I only had a video trying to back up past the line, and everyone in the alley saw me. Yeah, I've seen people like that. I have no idea oil's there. They do their thing and they walk too far and then they fall right on their butt. It's quite funny, actually. As long as they're okay. I wouldn't laugh at anyone who got really hurt. I've seen people get hurt on the bowling alleys, but not doing that. Noah Design says, that is what you call it, Al, but us common people, we call it lazy. Major Win says, got to get back to the photo station. I'm so bummed. I'm going to miss the jokes in the chat. Haha. Yeah, I got to get to work, man. Sometimes I know how you feel. It's tempting to want to be a part of the conversation. I'm very guilty of this. I'll have like a live playing in here and out in the garage. So they're playing together. But if I need to say something, I'll come running in here and type it in, and then I'll go back to work. So maybe you can do something like that. Dark Horse says he claimed he did not have the disclosures and made things very clear for everyone in the video. He said after 4 years of having everything in place without issues, why now all of a sudden is there an issue? He had that in place. But I'm wondering, though, what is the loss to Kevin if he's not part of that program? Is it a huge loss? I'm just wondering if it's that big of a deal to even be part of that program. Noah Design says this time there is so sublimey messages, John, reading too much into it. It's like how you react when Jenna talks about Karen Reed's. I don't know what that means, so I'm sure it has something to do with that. Free Karen Reed, I'm sure. But you never know. Some people might interpret the acronym a little differently. Noah Design says sometimes a tree is just a tree. You're right. Sometimes it is just by happenstance, right? But I would think sometimes it could be eBay just saying, look here, it's here. The item description, use it. Let's see. A little sidebar action I'll skip that. Rob Something says if he read the emails and took the action they requested, he would be fine. He was given 2 chances and failed on both. Don't know if there's a way he can appeal that. If it's important, see, I don't know enough about it. If it's important, then he'll find a way. Biff says these corporate CEOs need to come up with ideas to kill some time before they cash out with their golden parachute. These are not geniuses of business. They are good at corporate politics. Yes, I agree. If you took the whole shareholder part of the equation out, I think we would have a much better selling experience. But I think that whole idea that they have to make sure that these guys are getting their dividends, I think that is the problem, and that is why we don't have the kind of experience that we would like to see. One of the reasons. Joe Samard says in the beginning it was not cool on eBay waiting for the money to come in the mail. Anybody remember that? Anybody remember having to place in your listings, no cash, money order only, right? Or cashier's check or money order only, no checks or cash. I remember that. I remember running out to the mailbox every day going, oh, I got a payment. So you got to go mark it as paid, right? I remember those days. I remember getting scammed by someone sending me a fraudulent $500 cashier's check for some diamonds. And we mailed the diamond out. I think it was one diamond, actually. We mailed it out. And guess what? That cashier's check came back as fraudulent. So I was left holding the ball with that. So that was fun. The good old wild, wild west days of eBay. Roman says, Ken is right. I was trying to figure out where my alarm is sounding right now. Rosie Games is with us. Thanks for being here, Rosie. Hi, John. Nice to see you. Hope Jen has enjoyed yourself. Have a great week, everyone. Yes, we're making the best out of it, and we're just going to keep plugging away. And I think that for me, it frees up a little bit more time when Jenna's not here. Of course, there's no one to interact with except for the dogs. I can just sit there and have conversations with the dogs. They'll come and run up to me and they'll look at me and they'll bark at me. And I'm like, what do you want? And they want to go outside. So then I put them outside. They realize it's 105 degrees outside. They want immediately back in, right? And it's this whole cycle, like every hour they do the whole thing over and over again. Other than that, there's nothing else going on here right now. Anytime says Tommy said that since eBay hasn't called him yet, he'll make a video about it. I really mean that though, Tommy. You gotta. I think circumstances prevent you from doing it, but you, after watching some of those lives or the podcasts that you put on, not necessarily the lives, you did a great job on that, and I think you would do well if you came back. That's for sure. Samantha Hunter, what do you call them, Gen Z? They are into electronics, not items we have from years ago. How do we get them to care about glassware, old clothes, and more? Well, they become adults. They eventually become adults. They end up needing these things. They don't want to pay full retail, but they have no idea that eBay is a place for them to get that because no one ever told them. They have an idea of places they can buy online like Amazon and other places, but eBay is not the first option in their mind. That to me is because they just didn't grow up with it. They're not growing up with it. There's no commercials really, unless you are into like fixing your car for eBay Motors. There's really hasn't been a lot of eBay promoting themselves for just general stuff. And Roman says he's having a headache since eBay is glitching again. Tommy says, I quit eBay because they changed the logo once. That's always a solid idea. I never thought about that, but now that you mentioned it, it does bother me quite a bit. Devon says, John, I agree. They're in it for themselves, but they're supposed to be. They're doing their job if they're in it for them. Now, when you say in it for themselves, they're in it for the shareholders. And because they're in it for the shareholders, it's about job security. It's always about job security. So what makes me look better? A happy seller, but fewer profits for the shareholder, or happy shareholders, and unhappy sellers. So they're going to side with that every time because that's what keeps them a job. Roman says, Tommy said that living in Delaware is getting too old for him. He is moving to Moscow and will live with Putin at the same house. Or Putin. Rob Something says, I believe we're all in this for ourselves. Why is it considered taboo for eBay to be in business for themselves? They're not a charity. That's right. And I think, unfortunately, some people feel like I've spent so much money on this platform that they feel like they are entitled to something more. Now, look, I get it. Now, the argument is, look, I pay all this money to eBay. They should give me a functional website. They should give me a seller experience that isn't broken. I get it. But, wanting to go on strike, wanting to form a union, wanting to get together and say, let's all stop promoting on eBay. Let's show eBay who we are is not the answer. I promise you that. It's never worked and it will never work because you'll never get 100% of the sellers on board with that. If Lissa's here, she was tardy as well. So I think they were filming a live stream as a podcast. That's what happened. And they figured out that they weren't live. Tommy says, not Canton, Massachusetts. No way, shady place. Never heard of Canton, Massachusetts. Peddling Profit says, we rarely promote. I think it all depends on what you're selling. The more saturated the item category you would need to promote, the less saturated you really don't need to, in our opinion. No, you're 100% right. Well, let's say 90% right. And I'll tell you why you're 90% right. You're 90% right because if you don't have competition, because that's what it's about competition, then there is no need. You're just wasting money just to promote listings, except the example that I told you. If you're not promoting, you will not appear in Joe Blow's listing that has maybe not the same item, but the algorithm thinks of it as a similar item. We've seen search results where it's like, I didn't search for that. Well, your item will appear in someone's listing or in other non-search places on eBay because you are choosing to promote. So that's why I think for many people, they would benefit from promoting at a very small level, like 2%, 3%, just to get their items eligible for those things. Let's catch up here. We got Thomas says, Matt, have you seen any of the trial going on up there? Some scary good old boy stuff in the family. Yeah, I'm sure Jenna's seen all those trials. I just don't have enough. How do you have enough time in the day to follow all these trials and get your work done? That's a question I have for you. Jay Corona says, hello. Thanks for being here, Jay Corona. Lissa's been listening, been working a lot in the evening. Sorry I haven't been in the chat. John and Jen are fabulous wells of info and great friends to the community with their commitment. Well, thank you, Lissa. I appreciate you for being here for the longest time. And here's to you being a part of the community for, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. It just kind of, I'm still thinking of those people who were with us a year ago, and the fact that they're not with us, like the Prossers, all those folks that were always here watching the lives with us. It makes me wonder, like, how are they doing? What are they up to? Let's see. Tommy says, talking about the case, so I'll skip that one. Christopher Carella says, I found that one-day auctions with high starting prices have worked well. You're not the only one that said that. You want to work eBay's processes out to where it benefits you. If you can make that work, and the boost that eBay gives auctions, I think within the last 12 hours, eBay tends to give auctions a boost, and you're starting it at a place where you're going to make money. If you only get one bid, then go for it. Make it work, right? Make that model work for you. Christopher also says, I feel like buyers that are serious are liking they like quick buy opportunities. They do. They like quick buy opportunities, but that's what most of us are doing right now when we have our items up for sale on just a buy it now type situation. They don't have to wait until the auction's over with. So that's the downfall. So they see your item at, let's say you have a shirt for $12.99 plus shipping. You started at $12.99. They like the price, but they got to wait a couple days because it hasn't ended yet. So that's the only downfall to that. Koi Sauce online. How about eBay giving us a promoted platform? Remember those eBay commercials? Very entertaining and reminded people to go to eBay. Yes, that's all I'm asking for. I mean, I was hopeful a couple months ago that the eBay pay it forward thing, that was going to be a thing. I don't see it as being a thing. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I haven't seen it. And I don't know if you guys have seen anything with that, but I was hopeful that they were going to start promoting eBay in that way. Like, hey, I need to sell this tent so I can buy this watch, and so they show that the seller is selling the tent, and then they get the funds, and then they go and buy the watch, right? That would be your C2C. That would promote exactly what they're talking about. But I haven't seen on any of these videos that I watch and frequent. I haven't seen on a lot of the podcasts or anything like that where they're promoting it. Now, I don't watch a lot of TV, listen to a lot of radio, so maybe they're doing that there, but I haven't heard many people talk about it. Noah Design says, how's this conspiracy theory? I think all these court shows is eBay doing their famous misdirection tactics. We got Primo Chemo. Aloha, everyone. Spam and I just finished filling out our Piggly Wiggly applications. I can't get that bad. There's an answer there. I'm sure you will figure it out, James. I'm sure you will figure out what is causing your sales to not be where they need to be. Christopher Carella says, any thoughts on promoted listings? I was using their recommended rate, but eBay technology issues have been pissing me off so much, so I went to 2% promotions. Well, I'd say this. Look, if you're 2%, you're with a huge majority of the sellers who feel obligated to use promoted. So you don't have any real boost over them when it comes to promoted listings. That's why I'm always saying do like 2.1, 3%. So you're at least above that group of people. As far as anything else, I've seen a huge boost in, the impressions. I'm not sure I trust the numbers that they're showing, but it is showing me that I'm getting more impressions, which leads to more page views, which leads to more maybe messages from buyers who are inquiring about the item, who will then eventually make an offer on the item. And I'm getting more sales because of that. So I do think there's a direct translation between where you promote and how many sales you get out of that. So my only thing is I would rather see you promote at 2% with everyone else, just so you can get the non-promoted results that pop up in those listings, rather than just relying entirely on search. Primo says, hopefully we can telecommute to Piggly Wiggly. Maybe they might have a work at home program. Noah Design says, fun fact, Piggly Wiggly uniform sells well on eBay, 200% sell-through rate. There you go. Just camp out at Piggly Wiggly, and someone that gets hired today, they probably will quit in a week, and just have them sell you the uniform. Samantha says, wow, John, you had a situation with that transaction. No, I did. I did have a situation with that transaction. At the end of the day, I put a professional reply in there. I didn't even bother to try to get it removed because I know I can. It's a false positive. But at the end of the day, I just put, if you're reading this, check out the listing, click on the listing to see that it was a used item that they bought, and they bought one that didn't have everything with it. And I stated that in the condition and in the item description. So what did I do? My whole thing was, what did I do wrong here? I didn't do anything wrong. I really think that really can set up sellers to be in a bad position the way eBay has it set up. I wonder how many people have bought an item thinking they were getting something new. They bought it and I can get the same thing for $70, not 150. And then they go through the trouble to cancel, and they go right away to buy that real quick, snap it up, and they get something totally different because they didn't read the listing. They already read the first one, right? So I don't really, in my mind, I'm not like, this seller is an idiot. I'm not thinking that, because I think eBay put that buyer in a bad spot. Now, should they have done their homework and read the new listing that they're buying? Sure, before they rush to buy my item. But at the end of the day, who put the buyer in that position? It was eBay. But yet, as a seller, I'm getting all of the flack. Devon says, John always speaks facts. Unfortunately, I speak what I feel is the truth, and that upsets a lot of people that see their reselling business in a different light. And I don't blame them for getting upset, because look, we all have different experiences on the platform. They see and they have lived their eBay store for who knows how long, and they have an idea in their mind of what they're doing. How dare some guy jump on YouTube in front of his camera telling me something that I know doesn't work? I don't know if you know it doesn't work at all, but I'm here telling you what works for me. I'm not telling people what they should be doing, but I'm telling people this is what makes sense to me. Venom's with us. Hey, John, question. Doesn't eBay send sellers a swag package if they register and attend seller check-ins? I just registered for one via eBay chapter owner. I just registered last week for the seller check-in, and usually they will send, you have to think at the end that they'll say something to the effect, make sure your information is correct, and we'll send you out a swag package. And normally when that happens, when I attend and I get a little swag thing, I'll give it away to you guys. But yes, they do from time to time. Venom says, how does eBay chapters work? I got someone here in Massachusetts who's the owner of one, and it's about community and attending events with other resellers. How do you start one, and what's it all about? So there should be a way to set it up on through eBay, where you say, okay, I'm in BFE, and I want to organize a chapter in my area. I think Vicky and Katie have it set up out here in Vegas. And so once you have that, you then can send people sign up in your area, interested people in your area, and you send out like quarterly, get together requests. And I know that there's quite a few of us. I know we went to one in January with American Arbitrage, Sunny Las Vegas, Mikey Bags of Money, Vicky and Katie, but I haven't seen one since. So I don't know when they're going to be doing another one, but that's kind of how it works. Sometimes You host it at your house if you're willing to do that. You're building a community, a local community, and I think that's certainly a good thing. Biff says, didn't renew versus getting kicked out is two different things altogether. Sounds like classic clickbait to me. It's shameless. Yeah, there's this balance, right, for YouTubers. It's how do I put out a video and get the title that's going to get the views, because it takes time to make the video. Nobody wants to make a video that no one sees. So how do I make the video to where someone's going to click on it without being a clickbait? Because that's always crossed my mind. I think sometimes in the past I may have even crossed the line myself. It's really it's something you don't really realize until you start making videos, because you want to make the catchiest title you can, and sometimes you get kind of caught up in it. Ping G says, in previous seller check-ins, you need to fill out the questionnaire they send out to receive the swag bag, first 500 responders or so. So there you go. And I'm quick about that, because it's like I'm not listening to what they're saying, because a lot of it's just a lot of fluff. You go to these events, guys, the networking, like usually they'll have networking either before or after it, like you go find your category and you network with people. That's worth more to me than the presentation, because they're going to show you a success story, right? I never heard of this guy before, but I got to watch his success story or her success story. They're going to say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But it's usually affecting their feature categories. It's not something that really affects the everyday seller. So I go, it's usually, I feel like at the end, it's an hour lost, an hour that I'll never get back. And it's unfortunate. It just is. And you try to ask the tough questions, and they never give you a very, very good answer at all. Christopher says, me too. They've been slow with payouts. I haven't seen that. I don't know if that's eBay or somebody else, but I haven't had that issue with eBay. Mike Gertis says, I believe Piggly Wiggly would be lost if they located to Vermont. That's too northern. Tommy says, signing up at local coffee shop isn't worth getting a swag bag. I have to sign up with eBay and the email they send you. Yeah, you have to sign up with eBay, I believe, at the event to get, I think, the first 500 that sign up will get one. But it's not, I mean, it's okay. You might get a towel, you might get a water bottle, you might get a couple eBay branded things, but it's, to me, nothing worth keeping. It's worth, to me, more just to give it away to the folks that watch the show. We got Swamp Pickers with us. Thanks for being here today. Christopher Corella says, I think you need to think about the average. You win some and you lose some, but they average out. Yep. So to me, that's why, I don't get too excited when I get a $700, $800 day in sales. And I don't get too down when I get a $100 day. It's just like, all right, I realize that it's the law, like you said, the law of averages, but it could be something's going on in the background. We know that sometimes there's been times where it's like totally the half the day, there's not any activity at all. I'm not even able to send offers to watchers because there's nothing there. So I'm like, well, this is not normal. But then the afternoon comes and it's like a switch is flipped. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Here's all the offers. And it's like, maybe I'm on that server that people talk about, right? So I don't get too upset about it. I just keep going. That's all you can do. And it's less stressful when you look at it that way. When you start worrying about the things like, oh, I only listed 2 items today. Well, can you do better? Yeah, then work on that, right? If someone is behind the scenes messing with the eBay platform, then what can you do about it? You can't do anything about that. Let's see if I can get to hear some more folks. We have SCG Collectibles. Thanks for being here today. That Tree Cat show was way too short on Saturday. To be honest with you guys, I was meaning to be there on their live. They were talking about how they launched on Saturday. Tree Cat launched their payment processor. So now they're charging for every time you get a sale on any of the platforms your items are cross-posted to. They're going to delete that item from all the other sites, whether it's on Mercari, Poshmark, or eBay, so you don't have to worry about it getting sold twice. They're also providing the end item sell similar. They call it delist, relist, but I call it end item sell similar, where you can schedule that out for that item to do its thing every week, every day, every 29 days. And that's all baked into the price. If you don't sell very many, it's actually 50 cents per item that you sell. But if you sell more than 30, I believe the price for that service goes down. And instead of paying like $49.99 a month or $79.99 a month, regardless of how good or bad your sales are, you're paying only as you succeed, then they succeed. So that's kind of how it's set up. If you guys are interested in checking it out, use the link down below. It'll get you the discount because it's actually 60 cents. But once you sign up with an affiliate, it gets you those discounts. So give it a try. See if you like it. Cross posting is a way to get your items in front of more people than just the people who frequent eBay. So if you're not on Mercari or Poshmark, then you need to. If your sales are slow. If your sales are great, it may not be worth your time. Let's see. Thomas says, Venom, it's a swag bag, like $9 an item, not a paycheck. Listing would be better time spent. Yeah, it's just, to me, it's kind of like, oh, this is cute. You get like that hat. Someone got that eBay hat. I mean, you might get something like that. Let's see. Not Funny said he said like $80 a month. So I'm thinking that's like Kevin's situation with that program, $80 a month. But I mean, it's not at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt Kevin. Even if he lost $80 a month, he's doing pretty well for himself between his two channels and what he sells on eBay. I can tell you that. I'm sure that he's made that clear on his videos. No One Design says the swag bag is all the return, or the swag bag is all the return items they receive from their GSP. They got to get rid of it somehow. That would be funny, huh? You get like an old Sony Walkman for attending. It's like, where did this come from? Might have an eBay sticker on the back of it, but it's from 1980. Todd says, I learned a lot on Roman's show, like other sellers, to watch and learn. Okay. I guess I say that in jest. I mean, you're going to learn through experiences that are discussed and stuff that people chat about, right? But I say that in a joking way because for me, the experience on Roman's show is more about just the camaraderie and the fun and the getting together kind of thing. So SCG Collectibles wants to know if it's worth the time to register for the seller check-in. I mean, if you're looking at the idea that you can maybe network with other people in your category, like before it starts, you can get into these rooms and based on category that you sell in, it's interesting to have those conversations, but just know it's not going to be groundbreaking material that you're given there. It's not. It's for the masses, and most people just don't want to be bogged down with the minutia of this eBay process or policy or the algorithm and all this stuff. It's just going to be very, very basic stuff. Tommy says, seller check-in, sure, if you want to watch eBay pay their backs and not answer questions, it's fine, but worrying about an eBay swag bag full of junk and a roll of tape isn't worth rearranging life for. And that's why I always miss it, because it's not that important. I sign up because it's like, okay, I have a channel. I was even thinking about maybe doing a live during one of these and having it play. I don't know if that would actually go well or not. Would that be something that would get me like kicked off? I don't want to lose my eBay sellers account just because I decided to stream and like in real time talk about what we're seeing. But that would be, I think, an interesting video if it's legal to do. Devon says, I like Roman's guests. They're awesome. They're fine. I've been a guest on Roman's show. So, I mean, to say that is like, it's a slap at myself. So, again, we have a good time. I get more out of the networking and the talking amongst the folks in chat than I do anything else. But that's not to say that you can't get anything out of the show. Let's see. Devon, thank you. I will be a guest soon also. Like I'm my own guest today. And, for me, I guess I could take the time to make a video. If the live here was about teaching someone something, it would be better served just to me to make a video of this. Whenever you do a live, I think it's about just having a discussion with the community and the camaraderie and all that. The community is what you're going to get out of it more than anything else. SCG Collectibles. Where do I find Roman's show? You will want to go to Anytime Picker, 2 words, on YouTube. And to be honest with you, Roman does this so well. He is an expert at this. He will go in and he will put a link to all the channels that are on his live, right? And it's just like so awesome. I'll put a link right now, but I don't. I'm so far behind the chat that I really don't do that. But I just did put a link right there if you want to check out his channel. Roman says, Todd told me that if we don't learn anything about reselling soon, Tommy will start doing his lives again. No, Tommy does need to start doing his lives again. There's the link to Roman's channel, by the way. Pot G Grimm says, eBay better watch out if Amazon ever decided to make it easy to list. eBay's done. If Amazon ever decided to remove the barrier of entry and have no gating, right? To say, just come on, bring your stuff. But I believe that'll never happen. I think the brands would throw an absolute fit, more so than they do already on eBay. Mr. Sadie, Tommy will do his live again when Putin won't be president of Russia. That's a long time, guys. That's not going to happen for anytime soon. Christopher Corella says, eBay glitches are killing me. Major shipping issues, I'm told. I haven't seen any major shipping issues aside from the USPS Ground Advantage having problems at, like, I think the Atlanta hub. I heard there's a problem with one in Houston, I believe. And I've had 2 claims that I've had to file due to non-delivery. I still haven't called to see if I can get those handled. Let's see, because I had 2 more that came in. I had some other ones that came in that I worked on that I got money back on. But as far as the other 2 that I have that are still out and about, I haven't even bothered to file a claim or anything like that. Tommy says, Larry, when my wife loses 20 more pounds and starts back at the strip club again, I can waste time on YouTube freely like the good old days. That's awesome. That's awesome. But you should really consider it. You guys had a good thing going there. William Brame says, so they got to you too? I'm not sure what that means. Now, if you're insinuating that, you could be talking to somebody else, but could be talking to someone in chat, but not sure what you mean by that. As far as if you're saying that I'm an eBay shill, well, I'm not. I'm the first one to tell you that eBay has a huge problem on their hands. But look, I'm trying to make sales. I'm here to give you an honest assessment of what I do to get sales. If I turned off promoted listings today, I promise you, I would be in a very, very, very bad place. I would not get the sales that I get. And it's just about telling you the best practices. So take that for what you want. eBay likes me as much as they like stepping in dog shit. I'll tell you that. So, and I apologize for my French, but that's how much disdain eBay has for this channel and other channels like it. So definitely eBay is not someone that I'm directly in cahoots with, if that's what you're saying. Time management is something that I definitely need to work on. That's for sure. Picky Ricky is one that I'm wondering, where did Picky Ricky go? I know he was going to his boot sales, right? What happened to him? Roman says, Ken told me that time management is everything when you don't list anything. That is correct. We're about 20 minutes behind. Christopher says 2% versus 9.8 promoted listings. Can you help me think about the difference and what that means for me as a seller? Besides profit loss, think there's much more benefit. I think you're going to get more impressions, and in turn, you're going to get more page views. I would never promote at what they're asking you to promote. Their suggested rate, in my opinion, is simply a way to make people feel, there's the feelings again, make people feel like they're not promoting enough, and to coerce them into promoting more, which means more money in their pockets. You can get as much done with 8%, 5% than you can with, I think, with 15%. I think there's a certain amount per category, and you check the listings quality report. You go in and check the listings quality report. It'll tell you, here's what the top 10% of sellers in your category are using. Here's the average of the promoted rate that they're using. So try to be above that, right? Forget what eBay's suggesting. Look at the listings quality report for the category you're selling in and try to have your listings above that number. Todd says, I should go back to the stage, show these young punks how to shake the groove thing. Yeah, I'd love to see that. But all we know is that you know how to hand dance, but we don't know anything else. Chai Charon says, what is the most you have made from YouTube in a month? Do you ever see yourself going full entertainment like other YouTube resellers? So the most I've ever made in a month was about a year and a half-ish ago. I think I made like $1,400 in a month. And then I'm like, wow, this is going really well, right? But I do know that YouTube revenues have gone down per view. So that the CPM has gone down. I'm not sure what it was as to what it is now, but it's not the same. And I'm not driven by that. I mean, look, $1,400 a month is nothing to sneeze at. But for me, I've always been my business first, YouTube second. And I just have a hard time, even though some people might disagree, I have a hard time getting in front of the camera, saying the same thing I did a year ago. You know, I just don't want to do that, even though there's ways to repackage the content to make it fresh. I just have a hard time doing that. And I want to build the channel more. It's more of a goal for me to hit if I could ever do it, which to be honest with you, I have my huge doubts that it'll ever happen. Not to put it out there that it won't, but I'm a realist. Will I ever hit 100,000 subscribers? I don't know. It was at one time important to me, but it's now more important just to have a good balance so that I'm not overwhelmed, feeling like, oh, I didn't get a video out today to make an extra few $100. So currently I'm at about $700 or $800 a month, if I'm being honest with you on that. And that's fine with me. It's fine. I may have better months, may have more videos some months than others, but I think right now I feel less pressure to get a video out than I did, say, a year and a half ago. Unless you guys want more content. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't have a good pulse on how this channel is in the community as far as the content that I put out. I mean, I get my 1,000 to 1,500 views per video usually, but I'm not growing. That's the thing that's kind of turned me. I don't want to say I'm turned off of the channel, but it's kind of made me feel a certain kind of way that I would think by now I'd be closer to 30,000 subs. I think by now that I'd have more views per video, and it's just not doing it. So I'm kind of like, okay, it is what it is at this point. But maybe it's a lot like eBay, right? You get out of it what you put into it, right? And those things, how many people sub to your channel, or how many people watch your videos, or how much money you're making through ad revenue, it's really out of your control. You just make the best videos you can and see where it goes from there. Tommy says, Christopher, the difference is what your competitors are spending on promoting. They spend an average of 6%. You're getting buried at 2%. At 9.8, you're getting much more visibility. And that's why your listings quality report will tell you if it's 6%, and that'll give you a number to work around. So always try to be a little bit higher than that. Beard says, I can't believe I woke up from a nap for promoted listings. Promoted nappings. Tommy says, promoted listings had been daily topic for 5 years now. I think the odds of waking up from a nap in 10 years to a promoted listings conversation is very likely. But again, it's so important. I mean, that's why it's discussed. The idea of promoted listings is so important for those who just won't do it, and they are in their own way. They don't want to spend the money. Beard, you and I, we've had these conversations many, many a times. Off camera and sometimes on camera on the PPP Profit Playbook podcast. And it's like some sellers out there, I hope you're not one of the few watching, but if you are, you might be in your own way and you might hate on me for that. But look, I think sometimes we got to be willing to try something to see. Have you tried promoted listings to see if it gives you more placement, not in just search, but in other people's listings or in other locations on the eBay platform. David Doge says, Doge, I don't know how you pronounce that. I figured it out. If I want $300 a day, I should list $300+ a day. Probably need to list more than that, but that's a good starting point, to build your business. And you may have days where you only sell 100. You may have days where you sell 500. It's just the way that kind of works out. Glenn Cameron says, hit the like, got a sale. I mean, it works. At some point, it may not, but it's continuing to work. So that's awesome. Christopher says, Sellers Hub, what would be your recommendation for info we must be looking at consistently in the hub that sellers maybe aren't looking at, or mistakes we make using the hub? The hub itself is where all the information's at. So you go click on selling under My eBay and it'll take you to the Seller Hub. I would say don't get so caught up in like one day I've got so many impressions and the next day I didn't. And then the next day I got so many page views and the next day I didn't, because it's all like sales. It'll even out. The one thing I look in the Seller Hub that I look at now is the listing quality report, if you have it, which is under performance, but not everyone has it yet. That'll tell you everything you need to know about. It'll even go into your top 10 categories into all your listings to say, look, you need more photos or you need to promote at a higher rate. And these things, it's valuable information that a lot of people just ignore because it may be too technical. But I think as sellers on the platform, if you want to make more sales, you got to be using these tools. Tommy says, resellers can't math, and that's a fact. Actual sell-through rate calculations would be mind-melting. I agree, but again, there's no barrier of entry with eBay. You just get on and start selling. You don't have any sales experience or any experience at all on eBay. Mike Gerda says, did my first photo room listing, trying to learn how to use the service. Seems to be a good way to take photos for larger items. It's a good way to take photos in general. If you're doing a bunch of photos, I like to use the blur feature. So it focuses on the item in the middle of the photo and then everything else out is blurred. I like that a lot. It makes the item pop. But then I try to go in and make a special photo for my gallery to make it like I had some dethatchers, those machines that I was telling you about earlier in the show. And I took a photo of them out, fully assembled out of my driveway. And then I had Photo Room put it on a lawn with the sunset, fully bright, looked like it was on someone's lawn. And I sold it like overnight with that as my main photo. Christopher, you always list with offers available. I feel like it just invites those idiots to be more idiotic with their offers. To me, I do. And I know that I'll go and look and say, okay, I get an offer that's questionable. Like I had an offer today. I sold a dehumidifier. It's like a 30 pint, 1,500 square foot dehumidifier. Those go for like $140, brand new on Amazon. This one, it was a return. I don't know. It looked like it was never used. Listed it, and the guy sent me a question asking about it. I responded with the answer, answering all the questions he had about it. Within minutes, I got an offer. I had it for sale for $67 plus shipping. That's just my markdown sale knocked it down to 67. He offered me $44.44, and I'm like, why the hell would he offer me $44.44? I went and looked at it. I'm into the thing for $7. Now, I just listed it a couple days ago. So I'm looking at it. Now, if it was sitting on my shelf for a month, yeah, I would have taken that. As weird of an offer as that was. But it was too low for me. So I came back and said, I gave him back an offer of $60. I didn't come that far down off of my $67 price. I said to him, I can't go any lower than $60. This time of year, these sell very fast for me. And this is the best I'm going to be able to do. Guess what he did? Came back with $51 and change. So I replied back. I said, $60 is where I'm at. I counter offered him back. $60 is where I'm at. Please note, I do not play the haggle game that some sellers play on eBay. This is my best price. And guess what happened? He bought it, $60. So sometimes these offers can feel really low ball, and you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. But we deal with it. We stand our ground. This is the lowest I gotta be. We know how much we're into the item for. So for me, 7x my money after fees. We're going to go a little overtime just so I can catch up here. DM Ephemera, back in the early days, had to pay for more than one pick or store them in a site and learn coding for pick links and description, the good old days. Yep. It was, you had the HTML coding that you had to put in there. It was nuts. It was definitely the wild, wild west. Christopher says, I don't know what everyone is talking about with the pics, but Pixel Cut has been great for image editing. The only main reason I like Photo Room is because it's on my phone. My photos are already on my phone. I don't have to do anything but go in and choose a batch of photos. I want these in my listing. Boom. Choose the effect that I want, and I go in. You sometimes have to touch it up, but most of the time it works really well. Mr. Sadie, I like asking a question on Roman's show and coming back 1 hour later for the answer. That's great. That's great. Gotta love Roman. But you know what? I'm the same way. I will be way behind in the show like I am today, and it's just the way it is. Silver hair. Natasha was cute, Roman, but that doesn't mean you get any inheritance. We have Richard Spinewski says, my mechanic gave me really sad or bad news about my 20-year-old Nissan Sentra today. Going to have to list sell a lot quick. Need to raise money for a down payment on a new used ride. That sucks. Good luck with that. But watch some videos on if you're buying a new car, watch some videos on how to get the best deal before you go. Christopher says, tracking issues, eBay said, I'm in Atlanta. Thanks. What are they saying about Atlanta? F me. That's why I'm having issues. The hub there, I believe they either it's new or they're having some kind of issues there, and there's a lot of missing packages going into there. Tommy says, pro tip, don't use Ground Advantage, use UPS Ground or Priority Mail, 0 issues ever. Yeah, I'm just trying to pass on the best price to my buyer, and I think for me, like if the item's 12 ounces, I'll pass on a $5, $6 label cost versus 1 pound Priority Mail, like was it $8 or $9? Does make a difference. No Design says, does John even realize this live isn't about reselling yet? I mean, from Sugar Daddy Todd to Roman waking up and Karen reads. I think we've had a lot of reselling content in this one. Tommy, a little crisp, but not much, but use calculated and pass the discount to buyers equals a win-win. David says, moral dilemma, tracking shows delivered. Customer says item not received. Go with what's shown. There's people out there that lie, unfortunately, or there's people out there that are mistaken. The wife may have checked the mailbox. When he checked it, it's not there. It's not there. She put it in the corner somewhere. The neighbor could have picked it up off the patio and, could have been a porch pirate. Hard to say, but the information in the tracking is what eBay will go by, and that's what you need to go by. Samantha, John, that's okay. Forgive my spelling. It's okay. I misspeak all the time, so I can't complain about your spelling. Christopher, I tell people x-ray all my items and image what's inside for when they say something wasn't there. It's all about helping each other make more money, brother. Yep, I agree with that statement. We have Carol. Where can I find the listing quality report that you just mentioned? So it's in your seller hub on the PC. So under My eBay, Selling, and then under Performance. Now, the very right, once you click on Performance, will be like a bubble. It says listing quality report, but not everyone has it just yet. So I keep talking about it because I know there's some out there who actually do have it, but keep looking for it because it'll be there. US Sports Cards says, have you ever thought about slicing up a live stream and release short videos as you respond to a specific question topic? Bet you touch on 15 to 20 topics a live stream. I have this program I paid about $175 for a year, and I don't use it. That will go in and take a 2-hour live stream and chop it up for me, right, in a short. But yeah, I think as far as even chopping it up on my own into full videos would be pretty good, or just revisit the question and make a video on it. So that's a good point. Noah Design says, David, as long as you have a tracking showing delivered, send them the tracking info again and call eBay for assistance before the buyer does. It'll favor your side in the long run. I don't know about calling eBay, but I do believe that you should do reach out to the buyer with the tracking showing it's delivered. Chances are they'll fill out an item not received, and you're going to have to put that in there anyway. And usually eBay will side with you because that item shows as delivered. And even if they filed a claim through their credit card company, it's going to show delivered. Mike says, I hit the like button and my sales stopped. You hit the wrong like button, I think. Louis Sperinlitz, hope I got that right. You people need to wake up and realize eBay is not messing up. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. You really think operators from 3-letter agencies are not on the floor? And I think I triggered somebody. I think he lost his keyboard. He didn't finish his thought. Look, eBay, okay, and realize eBay is not messing up. Well, eBay is messing up. I don't know if you sell on the platform, Louis, but there's some problems that are going on in the background. It's obvious there's problems going on in the background. Now, do we allow it to affect us and stop us from making money on the platform? No, but these are things you don't find on a lot of other platforms. So maybe, Louis, you work in the trust and safety team. Maybe work on the campus. These are kind of messages we get from employees who get kind of irritated about these live streams. But if you're a seller on this platform, and chances are you're not, but if you are, you will see a lot of the things that people are seeing. So I understand people's need and want to complain, but all I'm talking about, if you're talking about this 3-letter agency video, if it's wrong, it's wrong. It's a video. I told people about it. But I don't necessarily think this video was making stuff up either. So yeah, think what you want, but it's kind of crazy how you were typing so hard you broke your keyboard. Sorry about that. Tommy says they eat spam also, Ken, if that tells you anything. Not sure what that is, but talking about mystery meat, I think we are kind of done. John Worldwide Weber checking in, says great show, John. Thank you. Christopher, there's a video that I have a link to in my description that I thought you guys might be interested in checking out. It's simply talking about the Ina Steiner situation and how there's possibly a CIA involvement in that whole situation. So it was kind of interesting. Don't know how true it is, but it's worth taking a look at and forming your own opinions on it. Basket Noodle says, greetings. Thanks for being here. John Worldwide Weber, you people, what a gem. Yep, it's us people. It's us people need to wake up and realize eBay is not messing up, despite the fact that, like Mike came on and said, Mike Camparelli says, hey, his sales were knockout until the last few days. He feels like something's going on behind the scenes. And maybe it is. But I think the takeaway is this. We need to do what we can and control what we can and forget all the nonsense and make eBay work despite itself. And stop getting in our own way. And if that means promoting, maybe when we feel like we don't have to, if it's about making more money, then that's probably an option that you need to pursue. If you're doing great, keep doing what you're doing. But figuring all that out is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent start to your week, and we will talk to you very soon. Take care, everybody.